Hello students, hope all of you are following guidelines of Punjab government to keep yourself and your family members safe from corona. So today we will discuss the topic stool sample collection, transportation, processing and preservation. So first of all we should know that why we need a stool sample. So stool sample is generally required to determine the presence of infection or hemorrhage, to observe the amount, color, consistency and presence of fat, to have an idea about the disease, and thirdly to identify parasites, ova or bacteria which are present in the stool sample. Ideally, a fresh stool sample is preferred, but if a fresh stool sample is not available, so in that case we can even collect the rectal swab. If the stool sample is to be analyzed for ova and parasites, then it must be taken to the laboratory immediately. So otherwise, if other type of test is required, thus stool sample can be maintained at the room temperature. So this slide shows a procedure for collecting stool sample. For collection of stool sample, first the patient is provided with the two wooden sticks and a suitable container. So the container should be leak proof. Special containers are available in the market which can be used for collection of sample. So this type of container, they have a spoon inside the lid. So then ask the patient to collect the stool specimen on a piece of tissue paper. So then transfer it into the container with the help of the spoon. So the sample should contain at least 5 gram of a sample. It must contain, if some blood or mucus or pus is present. The stool sample should not be contaminated with the urine. Once the stool sample is taken into container, it should be sealed properly. So in this slide, we will discuss the procedure for collecting rectal swab. So first of all, moisten the cotton tipped swab with the sterile water. Insert the swab through the rectal sphincter, rotate and withdraw. So then examine the swab for fecal staining and repeat the procedure if the staining is not proper. The number of swabs to be collected will depend upon number and types of investigation required. So then place the swab in empty sterile tube with a cotton plug. It should be processed within 1 to 2 hours. If the swab is to be maintained for longer durations, in that case you have to keep it in the transport media. Next is transportation of specimen. So transportation of specimen is very important because it may contain trophozoite or amoeba which may die if kept for the longer duration. So the patient should be asked to deliver the specimen to the clinic immediately after collection. So if it is not possible for the specimen to be delivered in time, so a small portion of the feces should be collected on 2 or 3 swabs, and it should be put into a container containing the transport media. So the transport media which can be used are carry Blair transport media, Stewart transport media, amines transport media, or we can also use 33 millimole per liter of glycerol phosphate buffer. For cholera and other Vibrio species, alkaline peptone water is an excellent transport media. Generally, two types of processing are done for stool sample. First one is for microscopic examination, and second one is for macroscopic examination. So, in macroscopic examination, we study the gross appearance of the stool sample. That is stool sample is examined for consistency, color, odor, and mucus. The gross examination of stool sample is very important because it gives you an idea about the type of disease. The first parameter in macroscopic examination is consistency. The normal consistency of a stool is soft and formed. However, the consistency may vary in case of infection or disease. So, if the stool is dry or hard, so that may be due to the constipation. If the stool is round and hard, So it may be due to the habitual constipation. So pasty stool may be seen due to the high fat content. The mushy or liquid stool may be due to the presence of protozoan or trophozoites. The second parameter is color. The color of the stool also vary with the infection. So the normal color of stool is brown, so which is due to the presence of stercobilinogens. Uh, if the stool is yellow or yellow green in color, it may be due to diarrhea. So black and tarry stool is seen in case of if there is bleeding in the upper gastrointestinal tract. So the maroon or pink color is seen in the stool if there is infection in the lower gastrointestinal tract, or it may be due to the tumor, hemorrhoids, fissure, or inflammatory processes. Clay color stool is seen in the patient with the biliary tract obstruction. So mucus in the stool is seen in case of constipation, colitis, or malignancy. The pale color with greasy appearance is seen in case of pancreatic deficiency. An odor is also an indicator parameter of the disease. A bad odor is produced by undigested lactose and fatty acids. The odor is increased due to excessive intake of proteins. The putrid odor in stool may be due to the severe diarrhea. Next is mucus. So pure mucus is a translucent gelatinous material clinging from the surface of stool. So in case of diarrheal stool, so if you see the mucus microscopically, you will see red blood cells and white blood cells. So this occur in case of bacillary dysentery, ulcerative colitis, and amoebiasis. Mucus with blood which is clinging to the stool is seen in case of malignancies of the colon, and secondly in case of inflammation lesion of the rectal canal. After discussing the macroscopy examination, which is based on observational parameters, so which we can see with the naked eye. So now we will discuss microscopic examination. This is the preliminary examination to find the cause of diarrhea. So normally there is no WBC in the stool sample, but a number of WBC are seen in stool sample in case of infection. So infection is generally by the bacillus dysentery, chronic ulcerative colitis, and shigellosis. In case of amoebiasis, only few WBC are seen. Normally, blood is not present in the stool sample, but it may be present in case of certain problems such as hemorrhoids, cancer, and dysentery. So next is ova and parasite. So normally no ova and or eggs are present in the stools. Presence of egg and parasite in stool are indicative of disease. Various infections in which there may be present certain eggs or parasites. They are roundworm, pinworm, tapeworm, and protozoa. In case of roundworm, eggs or worm can be seen. In case of pinworm, small pinworms can be seen. In case of tapeworm, so proglottids can be seen. In case of protozoa, amoeba or giardia may be seen in the slide. Next is preservation of stool sample. At least stool sample should be examined within 30 minutes, because there are certain parasites which are which can die very early, such as trophozoites. So they disintegrate rapidly. Several preservative can be used for preservation of stool sample. It is very important to use the proper ratio of fecal specimen and the fixative in case of preservation. So here we will discuss three important preservative solutions which are used as which are used for preservation. First one is polyvinyl alcohol preservative solution. It is used as fixative. It helps in preparation of permanent stain smear. It is used for the protozoan cyst. So formula is given here: ethyl alcohol 125 ml, vinyl alcohol 20 gram, a saturated aqueous solution of mercury chloride 250 ml, glacial acetic acid 20 ml, and glycerin 6 ml. So this is the formula for first fixative. Second fixative is 10% formaldehyde saline solution. So in this case we use a normal saline solution 900 ml and formaldehyde 100 ml. So third fixative is sodium acetate formalin fixative. In this case we use formaldehyde 1.2 ml, glacial acetic acid 0.6 ml, sodium acetate 0.450 ml, and distilled water 28 ml. So with this we have completed stool sample collection, transportation, processing and preservation.